Hi. So, you want to know about how to deal with the stresses and strains of work and running a business? Well, you are in the right place. Welcome to Marketing Close-Up with Karin. And today I'm chatting with Cathy Houghton of Blossom Health Coaching. Cathy is an expert in what she does, and what she doesn't know isn't worth knowing. So, you need to get to know who she is. Now, I'm Karin Fruin from KF Marketing UK, and you are listening to Marketing Closer with Karin. Now, this is the show for business owners and people who want to know about marketing and everything that goes with it. Marketing Close-Up gives you inside information that you can learn from, with real details for your business from real business owners. You can find me at KF Marketing UK on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, or on my website, www.kfmarketing.co.uk. Right, now the intro's over. Let's go on to our session today. Cathy and I met a while ago now, and I think, Cathy, it was through a business jelly, I believe.
Yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah, regular Wednesday lunchtime slot, isn't
That's
it?
right. Yeah, absolutely. And as I said before, if you don't know Cathy, you need to get to know her. She is a very successful businesswoman and a coach who has been helping women thrive, flourish, and blossom for some time. So, Cathy, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. Delighted.
Cathy, you've been working and coaching for some time now, and you've helped a lot of women in particular get better balance in their lives and also get better at putting themselves first. So I'm wondering, what inspired you to want to be a coach in the first place?
So a combination of factors really, is quite often is the case in life, isn't it? So as I got towards my late 30s, early 40s, I was looking for something different to do. I wanted to have a bit of a change. My children were growing up. I had more time. So I wanted to move from part-time to full-time employment. And I just really wanted to branch into something different because I'm a chartered accountant, and but my passion has always really been around food and eating. And I've always been fascinated by what people eat and don't eat and how they exercise and all that kind of thing. But at the same time, I knew that I didn't want to be a nutritional therapist because that was a long time of studying, lots and lots of detail. But I've got quite a sporty background as well. My children are sporties. And so when I found out about health coaching, the idea of doing coaching just really, really appealed to me. At that point, it was quite new in this country. I had to do quite a lot of research on it, and I studied with an American school because there wasn't really anywhere in the UK to do that. Obviously, that was online studying. It just really appealed to me because coaching is positive and proactive and helpful to people. And it just seemed to fit at the right time. I'd had a few minor little health issues myself. I'd got myself a bit stressed. I'd had a few years that were a bit trying, and it just seemed like the perfect thing to do to make me more aware of how I was looking after myself, as well as taking it out and helping other people.
Excellent. That is really interesting, isn't it? I think that quite often is the case, isn't it? Where you know, something that sparks an interest in you or something that you've done, or you come to a point in your life and you suddenly think, do you know what, I need to kind of change the course of what I've done. And I think that's happened a lot in lockdown, actually. So
Yes,
really has. Next question I wanted to ask you is, one of the things that I hear often in the groups that I have and with the clients I deal with is, and this is a topic that comes up everywhere, people find it really difficult to manage their work-life balance and the stresses that come with it, particularly if you're a small business owner or a solopreneur. So what are your thoughts on, what the causes might be and what people can do about that?
Okay, so I think the causes are a lot to do now with our pace of life and how we are throwing things from so many different directions. I think for most of us now, we do work that's in our heads. We live in our heads and we move very little. And COVID has made that much harder for many of us. I think lots of people have actually been quite happy to stay at home and be locked down. and they've adjusted to work at home, but it's all very much in our heads. And even though we're at home, we can still get just as stressed, if not more stressed, than that going out to the office, even if we're not traveling. So I think that's one of the main causes. And then I think another cause is the fact that something I work with my clients on is that we're all trying to be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
No matter what we're doing, whether it's the perfect parent or the perfect business owner, and have the most successful business, we're all trying to be perfect. So, and that's just huge pressure we put on ourselves, huge pressure. So one of the things I like to think about is being deliberately imperfect, consciously imperfect. And once you've taken away that thought that you have to be perfect, it really opens your eyes. Obviously, you still want to do well. Obviously, you still want to do, try hard at things, but you don't have to be perfect. And I think as well, some other things that we can do to help with this, if you're still working at home and likely to be working at home for the foreseeable future and you are quite stressed, I think it's still really good to have some boundaries in place. If you're able to work in a separate room and you can leave that room at a certain time and shut the door and put things behind you. Or I know of people who take a little walk in the morning now so where they would have driven to work before, they're not driving, but they're almost walking to work. They come back and they just get on with work. And at the end of the day, you can apply the same idea to that as well. There are some people who are still getting dressed for work and then you change at the end of the day too.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So I think, yeah, it is hard. We're business owners. It is hard not to keep checking your emails or whatever in the phone, in the evening. But it is, I think you have got to have a little bit of self-discipline about it. And at the end of the day, it can still be in that box. Just because you're working from home doesn't mean that it has to be all through your home. Try and keep it contained.
Yeah, I love this. This is just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And two things that I'm taking from that already about the, not being perfect, because I think, particularly with, the pace we move at these days and social media and all of that, and the amount of perfect images that get thrown at you, and the people put pressure on themselves to actually think that they have to be like everybody else that they see at certain levels. And I think the other thing that you've said that really resonates is the, stop, basically, because as a small business owner, the temptation is, I'll just check my emails, I'll just check social media, and then that eats your day up, and you don't get the downtime because you think it isn't going to wait. I think it's a difficult thing to achieve when you're a small business owner, but absolute gold dust what you've just said there. Really, really great tips for people. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, another thing I wanted to ask you. So, you're obviously a really, really busy person. You run your coaching business, you're helping people. And I know you've done some amazing work with the relationships we have with ourselves. I mean, we've just kind of touched on it there, haven't we, about not being perfect. But the fact that, yourself is the most fundamental thing you need to concentrate on, because it impacts on everything else. And I know that you've talked a lot about the way people talk about themselves, their sort of self-opinion and the language that they use, and how fundamental that is to our own well-being. What tips can you give our listeners about self-worth and that sort of area, so that they can go out there and, smash their goals and not worry so much about that?
Yes, I love listening to the way that women, the language they use when they're talking about themselves. It is such a giveaway, and so few women speak positively about themselves. That constant chatter that's in the head, the inner critic. Yeah, that's a big deal, and that's a good thing to change. I think one of the ways you can do that, again, it is building on that idea of perfectionism, but it's about measuring your success. So we live in a society where success is all determined from external values. How well is your business doing? Or if you're on social media, how popular are you on social media? All that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And actually, it's about thinking, well, what values matter to you inside. How can you take your self-worth from values that are inside you and important to you, rather than measuring it on external success? So I think that's, I mean, to give an example of that, so perhaps it's not sort of how many clients have you got, but it's how are you working with those clients? Are you in alignment with them?
Love it.
Does it make you feel good to work with them? Are they the right sort of people to be working with? That kind of thing, things that sort of light you up, really.
That's a phenomenal point, actually. And I think I have this conversation frequently with my clients, about aligning yourself with the right clients, because I think also one of the temptations, and I think it's particularly relevant for women, is that when you start off in business, your temptation is, yeah, I'll just take anybody, I'll take them, and you don't filter. And that can cause a lot of issues, really can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the world that we work in, we're one woman bands. We are our business, and we've got to feel good about it, haven't we? Because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to be good for us if it doesn't feel right. So, we have to go out. We have to put ourselves out there, and that's quite a vulnerable thing to do. So you want to feel good about what you're doing. So that would be one of my tips. And there's another phrase I read in a book, a long time ago, but there's this phrase that we are each of us responsible for our own happiness. And again, that can come from within. It doesn't mean, so, it's not other people that can really make you happy. You have to sort of develop this piece inside of you first. And then you can build your relationships looking outwards. So I think when people realize that, if you can take responsibility for your own happiness, stuff happens. Life is difficult. It's how you respond to that that's important.
Yeah, I love it. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I think that's a really hard one for people to get their heads around, because I guess there's so much external stuff thrown at you all the time, about, you need to be this sort of person. You have to be happy all the time. You have to do well in business. That actually taking that step back and working out, what is it that makes me happy? And is it all this external stuff, or does it come from inside? That's actually a really difficult step for a lot of people to take. Really. Yeah, great advice. I love this. This is absolutely brilliant.
Something else you can do is to become a bit like your own coach in some ways. And so I use a couple of different mantras for different situations. And for anyone who doesn't know what a mantra is, it can be a few words that you have in your head, a little saying, a little phrase. And so when something goes wrong, it's just a way of instantly trying to you want to try and remember it as quickly as you can, and there are ways to do that, but you just say this little saying, this little mantra in your head, to calm yourself down. And the other thing I would say as well is to try and notice your breathing. Try and notice, are you breathing really in a really shallow way, or are you breathing in a deep way? But so basically, I think if you can get in touch with your breathing, and if you can find a little saying that works for you, it could be as simple as, it's okay, I'm all right, I can handle this, or I will get through this day, or I've been here before, I can do it again. It really doesn't matter what it is. It can be an absolute load of gobbledygook, but if it works for you, if it makes you feel good, if it feels that sense of, I'm all right, that's really what you want to do. I'm all right, I will get through this.
So kind of what you're saying then is that people should just develop a phrase themselves that they can use when they feel stressed. And then they just repeat that to themselves, and it'll help to calm them down. And the breathing thing is interesting. Tell us more about the breathing. How should we be dealing with breathing? What do we look for?
Okay, so a lot of people these days don't notice their breathing at all. It's subconscious. Thank goodness it happens. We don't need to control it most of the time. It's just there in the background. But there are times where if we can control it, if we can get in touch with our breathing, it does really help. So when we get stressed, we tend to breathe from the chest in a really shallow way and breathe too quickly. And the easiest, quickest way to calm the body down is to slow the breathing down. So instead of breathing from here quickly, you want to take deeper breaths down from the abdomen, really. And you can put your hand there as well. And if you combine that with saying a mantra or something, I mean, it can take sort of 30 seconds, and it's just so easy to do. But what you want are just slow your breathing down, breathe from the abdomen. You can count if that helps, you know, you can count 1, 2, 3 in, 1, 2, 3 out, or there's, oh my goodness.
That's a good trick that they use in the army, isn't it? I have a friend that used to be in the army, and that's one of the things that they always did in stressful situations. You know, it's the stop, count to 3, breathe, count out, and then carry on.
Yeah, again, it's finding a mechanism that works for you, because there's loads of different ways of doing it. You know, a lot of people use box breathing, so it's 4 in, hold it for 4, 4 out, and hold it for 4.
Love that. Love that.
Box breathing.
I'm going to have to try that one.
Yeah.
Love that.
So again, it's just finding something that works for you and makes you feel good inside.
Yeah. And that kind of links on to the next thing I want to say. You know, I think there's many people that will be listening today who would love to put themselves in a position where they feel less stressed, so they can go out and, you know, not feel guilty and not worry about stuff so much. And in addition to the breathing, where should they start with that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because you're juggling, especially if, you know, if you're a parent, a mum that's juggling kids and work and everything that's going on, it is very, very difficult. And one of the things I love to do is encourage women not to feel guilty about putting themselves first. So one of the best things to do for stress is to do something you enjoy.
Yeah.
But so many women feel guilt over that.
Absolutely.
It's really, really difficult. Yeah. But again, you are your business. If you don't take care of yourself, your business will go under. Yeah. You know, if you don't look after, you've got to be there, and you want to be there for your family and everything as well, as of course. So I encourage women to do something every day that they just something for themselves. Something, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could take 5 minutes, but to do something for themselves every single day.
Now, that's
no guilt.
That's fantastic. Now, I know a lot of coaches say, you know, make sure you do something for yourself, but that idea that you should do something every day, that's great. I'm really liking that, because that kind of gets you on the track of making yourself feel good, doesn't it? I guess a lot of people are going to find that difficult, though. You know, that's it is part of the guilt trip, isn't it?
It is, but it can be just 5 minutes long. It really doesn't have to be a big deal. And I've got here, if I just reach over, this is a little tip that I use to help with this. So this is my self-care jar. And in it, I've just got some paper clips and some bits of paper and some stuff, basically. It doesn't matter what you put in the jar, but what you do is every time you do something for yourself, which is hopefully going to be every day, and you fill the jar and you fill the jar. And when the jar gets to the top, you plan yourself something maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit of a treat, something that is, oh gosh, at the moment, I guess it would be something that you haven't done for a long time as we come out of COVID. But anything that's a more, maybe a pamper evening or a nice meal, something that's a bit of a bigger deal, really. And so your jar's got full, you have your treat, you empty the jar, and then you start again.
Oh, that's great. So that's like a visual reminder of when you're being good to yourself.
And mine's literally here on my desk.
And yours is nearly full.
Habit building.
I love it. I love that idea. Yeah, that's absolutely great. And that brings us on to the other thing. We're coming out of lockdown now, because we've been, we're in the UK, we've been in lockdown, which seems to be going on forever. And I've asked a lot of people this, it's brought specific challenges for every business and every business owner. Now that we're, coming out of it, what do you see as the biggest challenge for people in managing their stress? And I like your idea of doing something every day, but is there anything else that they can do to manage that?
I think that we all need to be aware that everybody has got their own COVID story, and everyone has different feelings about coming out of COVID. It would be easy to think that is a wonderful thing for everyone, that life could be getting back. I don't even want to use the word normal, actually, but life could resume as it were before. But actually, there's been a lot of people who are quite happy in lockdown and don't want to come out of lockdown. They maybe don't want to go back to an office they don't like and things like that. They may have developed a little bit of agoraphobia on some level. So I think what we need is a lot of compassion, both for ourselves, but for everyone. And if you're employing staff, I think in particular, it's really important to realise that staff may have, issues, may be reluctant to resume as they did before.
Yep.
So I think trying to withhold judgment about anybody, and just be kind, just be really kind to yourself and really kind to everyone else, and don't expect, everyone to be happy about things getting back to normal, because I think the world has changed.
Yeah, I agree with you totally, actually. And I think, I see it now. There are some people who are finding it really a struggle to even think we could get back to normal, and are struggling with the small steps that we're making at the moment. So
Mm.
I think that's some phenomenal advice. And in fact, everything you've told us today has been absolutely brilliant. We'll have to get you on again. This is really, really, really great information. So, Cathy, where can people find you if they want more information? They want to get in touch to you. How do they get hold of you? Where are you? Give us your website. Tell us where you are.
Okay, so my website is blossomhealthcoaching.co.uk. I am not on all forms of social media. I have restricted myself. I'm on Facebook at Blossom Health Coaching, and I'm on LinkedIn. I actually can't remember what that is, but I'm sure you can find me on there.
You can. I found you on LinkedIn. It's not
and on my website, I've got a sign up box. I do a monthly newsletter, and it literally is monthly. I promise not to bombard people.
It's great. I get it. And it's got, actually, one of the things you can do if you like what Cathy's talked about today is sign up to that newsletter, because some of the tips that come through every month are just dynamite. Really, this woman just has some amazing advice for you. So, and she's not charging for that. So, sign up for it. It's a really good idea.
Thank you. And I also do offer a free 30-minute call, up to 30-minute call, for anyone who's interested in finding out more about my coaching, or anything like that at all. I'm happy to have an initial chat, because I realize that coaching is, embarking on a coaching program is a big deal, and some people don't know what's involved. So
sure.
Get in touch.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Cathy, thank you so much for this today.
You're so
been
welcome.
absolutely amazing. You've given us some really great things to think about.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's going to bring us to the end of our session today. I'm Karin Fruin, and I run KF Marketing. You've been listening to Marketing Close-Up with Karin. That's the show for business owners who want to know about marketing and everything else that goes with it, including running a business. Marketing Close-Up gives you the inside information that you can learn from, with real details for your business from real people. If you want to find out more about me, I'm at KF Marketing UK. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn. My website is www.kfmarketing.co.uk. And also, this goes out as a podcast, Marketing Close-Up, which you can find on Spotify at the moment. So please listen to it, give us a like, and I hope you'll listen to us in future. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for listening.